Good morning. How are you today? I hope you're all well. Today is Monday, the 11th of September. Unreal. Days are running on a regular basis. We are racing down to the end of the year. And whenever you see that, it means we have so much to do and so little time. But that's why we are big advocates of time management and other such things. My name is Rev Walter, and you are on our 7:30 Mentorship Academy call. These are free mentorship platforms designed to be of benefit and service to all those who choose to be part of what we do. This is our offering as the Academy to all those that are always asking and saying, oh, I need to be mentored, I need to be coached, I need to be mentored, please help me. This is us doing our CSR. This is us sharing what we can as far as business and code and management is concerned. The tidbits and bits of life that we give here are so critical to peak and optimum performance. And that's why mine is called Unleashing Your Destiny. The idea on Mondays is to help you unleash whatever it is that you're carrying inside of you. On Tuesdays, we have Aunt Sylvia that runs Mindset Change. Now, that is a very powerful platform whose aim is to help create transformative process in the way you view things and operate, because indeed beliefs are your unwritten commands, and most people never see success because of their belief systems. So Mindset Change helps with that. Wednesdays is open market, so we share from different parts of ourselves. We share and help you become part of what we do. Then on Thursdays, we have Dr. Nelly Kangwa, who deals with what she calls prosperity for your soul. She runs an organization called Project Life Design, whose aim is to merge or blend the spiritual and the physical in helping you to be able to really harness what it is you're here on earth for. Then on Friday, we have Dr. Jacqueline Mulundika with health tips, and her goal and aim is to help take care of the health side of you. You know, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. I mean, what good is your money if you're sick? So, and I'm talking about seriously sick. So the idea is to make sure that you're doing the optimum, absolute best in yourself so that you get the best of life. So today on Monday, if you're watching this on YouTube, please remember to like and even better subscribe to the channel. So I'm asking you right now, as you watch this, just take a moment, go to the subscribe button and click it. It's actually, if you tap the screen, you will see it's on the right-hand corner. Big right, nice button written subscribe, and you subscribe. We need to build the numbers that this channel reaches so that we reach more people. I know for a fact that there's a lot of people who don't like to be on Facebook. There are people who are not on LinkedIn, and so they want to watch this on YouTube. So please go and subscribe there and be part of what we're doing. So today is Monday, and Monday I am still on my series on advancement skills. So these are powerful advancement skills you need to master in order to do the best, in order to become the best of yourself. And a lot of people don't realize just how powerful these advancement skills are when it comes to pushing and getting you where you want to be. So we're looking at critical skills. So 11 critical skills necessary to help you progress, to help you get to where you want today. And today I'm looking at the topic of managing distractions. What are those things in your life that are seriously a distraction? And by the way, these things that we share are usually a tip of the iceberg. So if you want to go to the next level, the scroll at the bottom shows you that you can be part of the Unleashing Your Destiny or Financial Intel 101 programs. There's a phone number right there you can reach via WhatsApp. There's also an email there that you can use. So at any time you can check those scrolling. You can pause this video and take notes and then send a message out. We do charge, of course, for those, and you'll be able to benefit from them. So let's go into our topic today, managing distractions. So what is the story with distractions? Now, you know, if there's one thing that we've all learned the hard way, is that all those who are able to manage their lives and learn how to get rid of distractions actually end up doing far better in life than those who don't. So there are two. Okay, I'm going to be covering three today, but there are two major distractions that are taking the world by storm, and I think you already know what they are. The first one is cell phones, which is your smartphone, and then the second one is television. And just because those who are joining me by call here aren't necessarily troubled, especially by the television, doesn't mean that it is a serious distraction. And I will show you in a moment. But before I do so, let me share something very interesting. In a recent Pew study on teenagers and social media, 45% of the teens surveyed say they use the internet almost constantly. Then another 44% say they go online several times every day, of which 70% of today's workers keep their smartphones within eye contact. Can you imagine that at work? And over 50% of people check their phone if they wake up during the night. It's just amazing. So you find as soon as you wake up, what's the first thing people touch? The phone. So there are some people who've made it a point not to have a phone near them, so they keep it very far away. Others even charge the phone in the sitting room. Others even, switch it off completely so that it's not gonna come on and do anything as far as social media is concerned. Whatever the strategy is, I'm going to talk about how you manage these distractions. But going on, Thomas Frey says that the average smartphone users check their phones over, listen to this, 220 times a day. During peak times, this jumps up to once every 6 to 7 seconds. Okay, total addicts will actually jack in over 900 times in a day, and there are several reports that have revealed incidents where young drama junkies have been hospitalized from exhaustion because of FOMO, which is fear of missing out. Okay, it causes them to stop sleeping altogether because they want to know, what did they say? What did they say? What are they saying? What are they doing? So they're always on the phone, and then they get so worked up. And it's so funny. I'm not even going to laugh at this, because even for people like myself who literally just post my own stuff, I don't really go check what others are doing, and I don't get into arguments on people's walls. I end up getting onto arguments on my own walls, and some of them are so incessant that you find you're totally distracted. When you work out, all these apps have a time measurer where you can work out to see how much time you're spending. It's crazy. So one of the things, before I go on, one of the things that's so important is to decide right off the bat, is this social media doing anything to your bottom line? Are you making money off this thing? Is this thing actually increasing your perceived value? What is going on? Is it helping you in any way to build and establish who you are as a business person? And if the answer is no, then that's going to be problematic. Okay, but anyway, let's continue. Now, since office workers typically take around 25 minutes to recover from interruptions before returning to their original task, it becomes a far greater challenge for people to make meaningful accomplishments. You see, further complicating the situation, a 2015 study showed that distractions have a way of causing even more distractions. Workers who get interrupted by text messages are significantly more likely to self-interrupt. You see, that's the challenge with these gadgets. They condition us. You see, when 2, 3, 4 times, then you start being distracted. Now you reach a point where you are now conditioned into that state. So even when your phone doesn't send a message, you check it. Like, it's that bad. Like, we are so conditioned. Like, we just check the phone. Oh, I think I missed a message. Oh, you go through WhatsApp, you go through Facebook, you go through TikTok, it's insane. And then, of course, we all know that those reels and TikTok videos are just mad. Those 1 minute, 30-second clips, absolute junk. What I mean is drug. It's a drug, because you watch the first, then you watch the second, then you watch the third, then you watch the fourth, then you watch the fifth. Then before you know it, 30 minutes have gone by, nothing sensible you've watched. And I laugh, I hear people telling me, no, but there's education stuff I'm learning. Really, come on. Because you know that for every one educative video you watch, there'll be 6 useless videos that don't make any difference when it comes to your life. And then that short bit learning thing, no, when you overload it and you don't take notes and you don't take deliberate effort to note what you just read or watched, you'll forget that stuff by tomorrow. I hear people telling me, no, I saw 7 points on how to be more effective. And I always ask them, and what are they? And you'll notice that most of them, let me go back and watch a video. Of course. So the truth of the matter is, this self-interruption becomes a ricochet. You start ricocheting and from thought to thought while losing your ability to fully concentrate on any one thing because you're all over the place. So now you check the message, then you're back on your task, then you check the message, then you're back. I assure you that kind of work doesn't go anywhere. You cannot focus, you cannot lock in, you cannot do anything sensible with that kind of operation. So what does this then, what this means then is it makes focusing a big challenge. Tasks end up taking 3 to 5 times longer to complete. Imagine what that means for assignments, for example, reports for workplaces, articles you need to write, proposals, and even study sessions. Most people can't focus because they keep being drawn to that phone. And you all know what I'm talking about here. It's not like I'm talking to Greeks or talking stuff that doesn't make sense. You know exactly what I mean. You will be ricocheting your attention between your phone and your work. Your phone and your work. And that work should have taken 1 hour, takes 2 hours, 3 hours. Because you're not focused. You're not concentrating. You're not able to finish tasks on time because you're being distracted. Okay? The smartphone really is a double-edged sword. And that most are mastered by it rather than the other way around. So now, thankfully, smartphones have, these days, have a feature on them, which is called focus feature. In fact, it's not just on smartphones, it's on computers as well. I believe regulators were able to put these guys to a lot of tasks. So they all have what is called the focus feature. So all these high-end smartphones can be controlled. You can actually decide when you want that particular app to go off. So whether it's Facebook or whatever, you can actually switch it off and it can go off for a specific time. You can put all the distractive apps to sleep. Further, you can actually even stop those notifications that come on your lock screen because some people have notifications popping on their smart. They're very clever. What they've done is they've defaulted those lock screens to show notifications. I've switched off all my notifications on lock screens. But you could get an important message. It's okay, I'll be checking from time to time just in case I get an important message. But ideally, I just try not to because there are too many things that pop up and it is almost impossible not to become distracted. It's like impossible. You know, there you are working. And then, Mwila has been fired. You see? Now Mwila has been fired. Whoever Mwila is, they are fired. What happened? You see, that's a distraction. You've already been drawn. Is Mwila being fired going to be any different if you see it 3 hours from now? Most likely not. So what happens is you do get drawn anyway, and you end up getting locked in that message. Mwila has been fired. Then somebody answers, Dad, I have news for you. Okay, come to my inbox. So, my inbox. Sure, really? What happened? Yeah, what I'm doing. Well, those are the messages now. By the time you're done with that, 20 minutes are gone. Like, oh my God, let me finish this assignment. Let's chat later. Okay. Then you're there now trying to get back in your assignment. And remember, I already told you it takes 25 minutes, between 15 to 25 minutes to get into what we call the zone. My wife makes fun of me about this, but the zone is a spot where you are in full optimum receptibility as a creative. That's called the zone. Everybody has their zone. Whatever you're doing, whether you're a baker like my wife, whether you're a cook, there is this place you get to as a creative, we call it the zone, where you're really flowing. Like you can feel it, like, man, I'm flowing, okay? That zone takes 25 minutes to get into. Whatever your work is, it takes 15 to 25 minutes to get into it. And every time you're distracted by him, you have to take another 25 minutes to get back into that zone. And that's why it can be so challenging. And so the best thing is set all those things to block your phone during critical work. Sometimes there's no harm in even going into airplane mode or just letting it, like switching off all the internet and just letting, what are they called? Physical SMSs and calls come through, but all the internet is off. And in that way, you can focus. So this is a very, very important thing. Now, another distraction is television. I won't spend much time on it but it's very powerful. According to studies, the average person, listen to this, watches about 4 hours of television daily. That's not even exaggerated because if I just do a mental count, Zuba, And Mpali, that's how much? That's already 1.5 hours. Because Zuba is at 20 hours, and Mpali 20, 30, 21, so 1.5 hours. Then probably you watch my coffee before Zuba or something. So that's already, 2 hours right there. Then you probably have to watch the news, which is 30 minutes, so 2 hours 30. And watch a full football match, 4 hours. So that's real. So the average person watches 4 hours a day. Over weekends, this goes up to almost double that time. When added up, we are speaking about 20 to 24 hours a week. This means that the average person spending roughly 100 hours a month in front of television. Now, if you worked out how much that time is in terms of productivity, do you see what that means then? Let me give it to you. I'll illustrate. The average middle class person in Zambia today has a monthly income of about 15,000 kwacha per month. That breaks down to 576 kwacha a day, or 72 hours kwacha per hour, right? This is the middle class person of 15,000 kwacha income, all right? Now that breaks down to what I've just said. And to understand what time we waste in front of TV or how much it's worth, take the 100 hours and multiply it by the figure shown, and it's another 7,200 gone each month. So each person who actually gets into this kind of situation ends up wasting the equivalent of 100 hours worth of a salary per month. That's some serious money. Now think of how much you could accomplish with that 100 hours if focused on high productivity activities. The amount shown is to help you wrap your mind around what it costs you. But in reality, there are activities worth 1,000 times more in value than the hourly rate shown. Okay? Suppose, now for me who's a writer, let me show you. Suppose you were writing a proposal for a project that may end up earning you millions of kwacha for the next 2 years. How much precisely would that be worth in terms of the time spent versus the return? Okay, if it takes you 24 man hours to complete the proposal and it earns you 10 million kwacha over its lifetime, that makes the hourly rate spent a whopping, listen to this, 416,000 kwacha per hour. Now, do you understand the implications of wasted time? So I'm a writer myself, and I've come to learn that this what I'm talking about here is such a serious issue. That's why I'm so particular about how best to be used to really utilize time. A lot of people ask me and say, Rev, where do you find the time to read and study and then write all that stuff? Let me tell you, I do that because I know that in another 5 to 10 years, most of my stuff will be books. We've already got about 12 manuscripts in place. And over the next 2 years, I want to release all those 12 manuscripts. You tell me, how much do you think I'm going to make, even if I do not create a bestseller? How much do you think I can make out of my manuscripts? Let me take you further. I've done coaching courses. I've created them. How much do you think I've made through my coaching courses since 2016, especially 7 Principles? I have done seminars. I've done conferences. I've done workshops on 7 Principles. I've done talks. I've sold books. I'm selling videos. All these things are coming off that work. So if I had to calculate how much time did I spend creating that work, and then how much have I generated from it, then how much is it worth per hour in light of how much I've generated in the last 7 to 8 years of 7 Principles? It took me, I checked it out, it took me about 97 hours to write the full 7 Principles, because you can see it on Word. When you're writing, you can see these things they show. And in those 97 hours, how much money have I made of 7 Principles since I released it in 2014? In fact, it was first a series on radio. In fact, it started from Christian Voice 2012, 2013. I remember speaking at a number of churches. Then I went into corporates. Then I went on radio. Then it became something I'm called for all over the place. 2016, I even got an award from the Bank of Zambia for financial literacy, all the way through to today. Just last week, I made about 6,000 kwacha just off the 7 Principles, because I went to preach at a church and they paid me an honorarium. And on top of paying me the honorarium, there are people who bought the course. There are people who bought the course. The course is worth 550. They bought, about 3 or 4 people bought the course, plus a few people bought the book, which is 100 kwacha. Now, yes, I did give some discounts, but the point is I was able to earn that alone. And that's why I'm telling you that when you're a creative and you do these things, they count to money. So ask yourself again, what are you doing to ensure that you're watching your time? And that's why we say the only way to is to simply switch off the gadgets unless your business is dependent on them, in which case you schedule specific times to scour the various walls and inboxes to extract what you need and make responses accordingly. And I do that very well. I have gotten brilliant business of responding to inbox queries. That's why even inbox query management is very important. You need to know who and how to manage those inboxes. So I have automated responses that work. And then on top of that, I've also got copied write-ups. So I don't have to start writing. Just copy paste, because most people are going to ask the same thing. So you have a reservoir of all the responses that are commonly made by yourself, and you copy those and paste them in the inboxes. And those who are serious will come through, pay a fee, and we take it to the next level. It's that good if you manage it. So the key is managing and learning how to do that. So other than that, you can temporarily freeze your apps and switch off all the notification pop-up windows, or have your gadget as far away from you as possible when in productivity mode. Now, just before I do my last bit, allow me to just run our usual. Nah, today I'm not going to run it, so forget it. Let me just go to the last one. I've got a lot of people that have posted here, but let's just go to the last one, because the last one is also very, very important. And this less obvious but very powerful distraction is what I shall call life distractions. That's right, life distractions. What are life distractions? Life distractions are events that occur in your life that are relatively significant and can cause a serious disruption in your productivity. I'll give you basic examples. Deaths, of course, very powerful. If you die yourself, that's the end of you. But I'm talking about people close to you. All right. Breakups. For a lot of people, emotionally speaking, they go through a lot of hell when they go through a breakup. And I'm talking about a love breakup. These can, of course, also include, divorce. Divorce can be extremely distractive. Managing your home and what's going on at home. That's an area which I know Dr. Nelly and Sylvia has touched on quite a bit. It's a very serious area. Home and family is a very serious place. And if you don't manage that place well, it can be a serious distraction. This is one of the reasons why you see me post what I post, and some people, of course, misunderstand what I post. But I do that because I know that when your love space is in problems, it will affect productivity all round. There's a lot of people who suffer immensely because of what they go through emotionally. So that's a very big distraction. And managing that, learning how to manage crisis and still keep a good demeanor in the midst of a life-changing crisis is, for me, superb mind control. I have a client who's going through hell right now. Hell, literal hell, because she went through a very shocking discovery in her marriage. And that has, it's been terrible. Even when I listened as a counselor, I was like, oh my God, that's terrible. But what has amazed me is her ability to stay totally focused and run a business. She's running a high-end multi-million kwacha business venture. She's very, very well off, very wealthy. Her and her husband, they're very wealthy, but they are going through this major crisis. But yet, in the midst of that crisis, they managed to stay focused. For me, that's a very powerful, positive quality. And all of us need to have that kind of quality so that it does not distract and mess you up. Accidents. Now, those can be very, very debilitating. Dismissals. If you're dismissed from your work or you lose your job, are you able to stay focused and keep the main thing? Okay? Drastic changes in one's life that will cause their lives to come to a standstill for a given period. These cannot be avoided. Okay? These things are going to happen to all of us. The key now is, do we have the ability to bounce back? If you are able to bounce back, then really you are well set. Okay? And that really, for me, is the most important. You must find a way to be able to stay stable. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the three major distractions for most people, which are the smartphone, the television. For me, I tell you, I don't even, unless we go there. And then life events. And for me, life events, this is where, if you look at what we teach in this academy, we are so big on emotional mastery, especially Dr. Nelly. Dr. Nelly has been dealing with the topic of emotional mastery because that's the key to managing life distractions. Life distractions can be very painful. If you find your husband or your wife in an affair, how do you manage that process in light of your overall destiny goal? If you had to lose your job today, like something major happens and you're dropped and you lose your job, how reality in light of what it is you feel you have been called to do? How do you manage all these issues? So that's again a very powerful component of what we're speaking about. We are saying, do you have the emotional mastery to detach yourself? And that's what she's been doing. She did a 7-part series on this. So those of you who are serious and interested, just go to Dr. Nelly's page and you will see emotional mastery, emotional mastery. I don't know if they're on a page, I'm not sure, but on her YouTube, they're there. And so go look for emotional mastery and see for yourself. How do you manage crisis at that level? How do you overcome a situation where such a distraction has come? One thing she says, which like I keep saying, is very, very challenging, but is very powerful, is to detach emotionally from the result. That's why it's a lesson. That's why it's a training. Okay? And if you can learn how to emotionally detach from what's going on, then you really are on your way to becoming emotionally mastered. So that third part, life distractions, what's the best way to overcome? Become emotionally mastered. In other words, don't let your emotions, don't let the event define you. NLP always talks about one famous statement that is always there. It says, it's not the events that matter. Sorry, it's not the events that occur to you that matter, but the meanings you assign. Now, to be able to assign a good meaning, you must have emotional mastery. You must learn to manage life distractions. So, ladies and gentlemen, life will happen to all of us. All of us. That's why it's called a life distraction. You don't see it coming, it just shows up. And when it does, do you have the fortitude? Do you have the mental capacity? Do you have the emotional mastery to overcome? So I want to close this session by recommending, I mean, we do our own course, and obviously I'll promote my course more, but let me start by recommending my friends' courses. Dr. Nelly, Emotional Mastery, part of the PLD mentorship program, very, very important. If you really have issues, especially those of you who are going through emotional relationship issues, I'm going to recommend deeply that you connect with Dr. Nelly. She will do wonders for you. You know, I post stuff on my wall and I see the raw reactions that I get out of posting stuff around marriage. I see what my inbox receives. So many people need to connect to Dr. Nelly because this woman is going to do wonders for your life. Then on the other side, you have Auntie Sylvia, soon to be doctor. Auntie Sylvia deals with the issue of mindset change, and it's really about how do you transform your thinking from its current limited state to an optimum state. The Mindset Change program gives you processes and tools that helps you to do that very, very effectively. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, they are not effective at this, so they struggle. But I'm here to tell you that Aunt Sylvia's course is very, very useful. They have a 90-day monitoring process as well, which is very, very good for people like yourself and myself to be well grounded. And finally, I myself, Rev Walter, I run Unleashing Your Destiny. What's the purpose of that? We teach self-discovery. We teach how to unleash and harness what you carry, especially on issues of identity, on issues of roles and issues of purpose, service, work, mission, vision, you know, all these bits and bobs, you know, goal setting. And the funny thing though is that we all teach these components, but in different ways. And my goal, my encouraging to you, my encouragement to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that you have to find a way in which you can really focus, a way in which you can really stay keeping the main thing the main thing. And so on that note, I want to thank all of you for being part of what we're doing here. And I want to encourage you to stay focused, stay productive, because these distractions are killers. I won't even lie to you. Listen to this. Do not forget that the smartphone, if the smartphone distractions are so engrossing, what time does one then get for real world relationships, which is friends and family that play a far more significant and beneficial role in one's life? I almost overlooked that part. See, if the smartphone is really taking your time, it means something is losing out. Your connection with real world people. Simon Sinek really does something very powerful in that space. He talks about the fact that when you go to any kind of engagement, social engagement, whether be it a business meeting, or whether be it a meeting with colleagues, or whether be it a meeting with your friends and relatives, the first thing you must always do is to put your phone on silent and face it down. In fact, if it's very funny. He says, even the idea of putting your phone on the table down is still a pain, because it's basically saying, you're so important, I'm putting this phone down just for you. And that sounds manipulative. So he says, just don't even show it. Just keep it in your bag or keep it wherever it is and let it not be present. Now, I know some people have to receive super important calls, so they'll still keep that phone up and they'll be looking and going and muting the phone when calls come in. That still looks a bit dodgy. So Simon Sinek says, just put the phone on silent so that it is not distracting in any way for that period when you are engaging with whoever it is. I agree. So what I normally do myself, I keep my phone on silent. It's on vibrate, and it is on silent as well. Especially if we go out, like if I go with my wife out to eat somewhere, I just have my phone off. I don't want that near us. When I'm in church, of course, it's even on focus mode, so it's not even open. No ring, nothing will come through. When I'm doing this session now, my phone is on plane mode, so you can't reach me, so that I'm able to focus 100% on this work and finish what I'm doing. So these are ideas of what you can do as well in order to ensure that that doesn't happen. Now, of course, if you are very, very clever, but in a manipulative way, one of the strategies also is to, again, put an alarm on your clock, on your phone, so that within a certain period it will ring and you put the tone like it's calling. And that's a very clever way of ending a conversation, because some people don't have an idea that we've come to the end. So if you're a consultant like me, and then there are people and they're just going past your time, one of the strategies we use is, sorry to divulge this, but it's true. We have the phone ring, and then we say, oh, my next call, my next client is here. They're coming. Nobody can argue with that. For me, it's a nice way of just saying, okay, your time is up. Sorry, bye. That's rude, and that's not nice, especially if somebody's really going through stuff. So you can just have that setting come on repeatedly so that they know their time is up, they need to wind up, and the next person needs to come on. So it's a very smart, clever way of doing that. But there are many ways in which we make sure we can stay focused when it comes to our people and our work and our productivity. So you want to go out there and be super productive. For myself, I'm very, very glad I was able to share with you. Somebody was asking about where they can find the 7 principles. Just that scroll you see down there, just go there. There's a number, send a message and say, I would like 7 principles, and we'll share that with you. But for myself, I'm done, and I'm so glad that we were able to talk. I'm looking forward to your joining us tomorrow. Dr. and Sylvia will be on tomorrow with Mindset Change Program. I will be back next week with the next skill, which is how to manage relationships. So next Monday, when you join me, we're dealing with relationships, and you will be blown away by just how powerful managing relationships is when it comes to your life and your progress. And so for myself, Rev Walter, it's been an honor. It's been a privilege to be here today. And to all of you joining us today, remember, you can follow the scroll for more detailed info. If you have questions, we will respond. In fact, I will respond. I saw many in the comments. Thanks for joining us, and catch you then.